Okay, Beth, do you want to introduce yourself to everyone? Let everyone know who your glorious self is.
I'm Beth, but better known as B. I am a yoga teacher. I like to call myself a transformational yoga teacher because the yoga I teach
Yeah.
isn't just like the physical practice of yoga, it's the kind of mental side of it. To me, yoga is a journey of learning to be a human being and learning to enjoy the wobbles of being a human being. And all the teachings and practices are just kind of like guidelines for how you can be your happiest and live your best life. So that's kind of what I like to teach, and I like to share that in all my classes, and they're all themed around learning to be a human being.
Oh, Beth, that's honestly so beautiful. I'm not joking. Like that's really touched me. That's give my body chills. Like that's really, really lovely because like yoga's something I've never had a consistent practice. It's always been the one thing that I've written. Do you know when you have like New Year's resolutions and you do your goals for the month and your intentions? It's always been the one thing that I've always written. I want to get into like an evening yoga practice or a more or just some kind of yoga incorporated into my life because whenever I have done it, I have found it really grounding and transformative. As you say, it's not just about, it's actually nothing for me personally, never been anything to do with the physical body, but more like the just space and clarity it gives you, just giving yourself that time. There's something very powerful about that, I think.
Yeah, and when I used to do yoga just for the physical side of it, I hated it. I honestly,
Yeah.
because I used to be like a hit workout kind of girl and would just do hit workouts all the time. And then I'd do yoga,
Yeah.
I'd be like, slow, it's really boring, I'm not getting anything out of this. And then when you kind of switch it and start to learn the actual teachings behind it and why you do all these different things, you think, actually, yeah, and you start to connect. It builds that mind body connection. It helps you kind of learned all these different parts of being a human being. So like, how can we use our bodies as a guide and to feel the best we possibly can? How can we get out of our crazy monkey minds and
Yeah.
into, because I think we spend so much of our time up here, like we live in
Yeah.
two worlds. We live in the world up here and then we live in the real world, and it's how can we bring ourselves back into the real world instead of being all up here where all the problems are a little bit crazy and we can't deal with it all.
Yeah, and actually learn to take a step back and tune into yourself and to be mindful of like what's going on with your body and how you are feeling. Because I think especially like in today's age, like we are all so busy, we just are like we're busy working, we're busy holding down, our family and our friends, and like it's just so much. So to actually, and I've seen this quite a lot where, as you say, like people are very much into like heavy workouts and go, go, go. And the idea of yoga, it's just like, are you serious? You actually think I'm going to land a mat for half an hour? What do you think I am? I don't have the time for that. But like, time is all you have. And like, do you not owe yourself some time in a day to, rest and recuperate and actually do something beneficial for your health? It's like, there's a real dichotomy there over why are you not letting yourself and why do you not deserve that?
And we need that balance between the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine. It's that masculine and the yang is like the go, go, go action, which is what we seem to live our whole entire lives in now, because everything is so fast and chaotic, and it's like go, 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 go. I must push, I must do this.
And no
And then,
wonder everyone has anxiety, like.
yeah, and then you kind of relax into the yin and the feminine side of it, and it's connecting to your intuition, connecting to who you are as a person, slowing down and allowing things to happen. So I'm a great believer in law of attraction, and that what you put out into the world you bring back. And
Yeah, for sure.
that connecting to your intuition and what's lying underneath is you relaxing and allowing what you have worked towards to actually come into your reality. So it's kind of doing all the work, and then someone said to me, it's like letting it marinate, like letting it just kind of happen and come to you. You put the work in and now you have to let it happen. You can't be go, 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 go all the time. It's just not possible.
Yeah, and actually having that belief though, because I think we can often like think, oh, think of something we want, for example, and then you'll be like, your monkey mind, as you say, will sort of talk you out of it. It'll be like, oh no, that's not for me. I don't deserve that. It's good for them. And by actually having that block, you're restricting the flow of what you could in an abundant world. There's nothing we can't have. You're
Yeah.
restricting that from coming to you by you have planted, do you know what I mean? Whether it's come from you or an outside source, you're telling yourself, no, you don't deserve that. So do you think you're going to get it? Unlikely.
And the more you push, the more resistance you're creating, and the more you're kind of pushing what you want further and further away from you. And we keep trying to force through it and make it happen, but it's just not how the world works. And when you look at the world, every single thing in this world is created by a thought in a human mind, like other than nature.
See, the fact that we're actually talking about this, it's actually filling me with so much life, because no one talks to me about this stuff. I'm like, it's only me that's like putting this out into the world. I feel like I'm this alien, you know, like what you think about, you bring about. Like, stop saying that. And it's like, oh my gosh, like right now though, like you feel like odd though, like saying this, because not many people are in, you know, they're mindful of what they're saying to themselves. They just go on and keep saying and repeating the same vicious cycles and wondering why they keep getting what they're getting.
Yeah. And like, even if you don't believe in the hippy dippy law of
you don't need to be extreme. Like, it's just the idea of it all, you know, it's a very basic principle.
And when you look, even if you just believe that what you put, how you talk to yourself creates your reality, because it's the actions that you take, the way you feel about yourself, what you believe in. If you don't believe you can do it, you're never going to take those crazy, scary risks to make it happen. You're never going to put yourself out there to make it happen, because you believe it's not going to. So even if you don't believe in vibration and frequency, which I don't know how you can't, but even if you don't, what you say to yourself creates what you see. And because we're all wearing lenses, we're all seeing the world through a certain lens, and if you're choosing to see it in this kind of dark, dingy, I can't do anything, nothing's going to happen to me world, then that's what you're going to get back, because that's how you're viewing the world.
I'm a massive believer in that myself, in that every day you wake up, you have a choice. You have a choice to put on like rose tinted glasses or and not like in a toxic positivity kind of way, because you know obviously there are miseries going on in the world. You're not just living in this little bubble of happy and like totally blanking out, you know, anything like bad that happens. It's that everything bad that does happen you can see in, you know, a positive light, that say that's teaching you, you know, how well to cope with, you know, the changing emotions of the world. You know, it doesn't need to be like the worst thing in the world and that let it cripple you. Like, you do have the choice to get up and seize every day and just embrace all opportunities, or to wallow in misery and do nothing. Like, and especially I think with lockdown, you know, this is really, people have either sank or swam. You know, you have those two options. There seems to be no like middle ground. You've either let it completely swamp you or you've risen.
Yeah, definitely. I like to start every single day with a smile. Like, I get up and I smile for at least a minute every day, because it's an antidepressant and it just changes the way you view the world. And it just
that's so lovely. That's actually the nicest thing. So that's like the first thing you do in the morning. You're like, that sets the tune for the day. That literally sets you up, right?
For a minute in the morning, a minute when you start doing it, you feel really goofy, because you're like, why am I?
Yeah. Do you do it in the mirror, or do you just do it like in your bed?
Do it in my bed. I just get up and I smile and I say things that I'm grateful for, because I think you're so right. There are times in your life when things feel heavy, things feel uncomfortable, things feel too much.
And even for us being mindful of this material, it's not as though we never experience like really challenging and hard times. Like, that's not, you know, I don't think that's an achievable or realistic thing to aim towards either.
And part of what I teach is learning to welcome the pleasure of being a human being, because it's amazing that we're human and we get to do all these crazy things, but also allow the pain of being a human being, because we feel all these amazing things. We also feel these heavy, quite hard things to deal with sometimes. And it's not that you don't feel them, and it's not that you can push them away and pretend they're not there. It's learning that even in those moments, there's still amazing things that you can focus on. It's allowing it, feeling it, recognizing it, not pushing it away, because that creates resistance, but kind of choosing to shift, choosing to reach for a better feeling. And I like to say it's not from going from 0 to 100. You can't go from feeling scared and sad and lonely to on top of the world. Like, that's
it's
not possible.
Embracing the journey and riding the wave like through it.
just reaching for that one step up. So not going all the way from 0 to 100, just going up to 1 and then to 2 and then just slowly kind of making your way up.
Like the
I
baby
have
steps.
Yeah, and I have times when life feels way too much and I just don't want to get out of bed, and like that's normal for some people. Like you do just go for things like that, and it's okay, this is how I feel right now. I know this is going to pass. I know that this will not be here forever. What am I learning from this? What am I feeling in this moment? What can I learn and kind of grow from this? And my favorite ever saying in all my yoga classes, all my yogis will laugh if they ever hear this, because I say it all the time, and it's learn to enjoy the wobbles because life is full of wobbles. And it's like I say it in your balances and all your poses, because you wobble and you fall sometimes, and you think, oh my,
it's so relevant to life and the yoga practice.
It's kind of every time you fall, you get up, you learn to get back up again. You learn to build that resilience.
I get knocked down, I get up again. Literally. No, I'm a massive believer though, like that your struggles craft your strength. So it's not whenever you're struggling that it's like the worst time in the world and to really, just really feel so guilty about ever struggling. It's that, wow, like this is a time that I can really take to myself and tune into myself. I need to take a step back and sort of look out to what this is teaching me about myself and how, I can grow as a person through this, that it's really not a bad thing to, because I feel like as well, people sort of look at others and they think, oh wow, like look at them, like they're living their best life and the grass is always greener on the other side, and sort of no one else is feeling in a bad way apart from me. And it's those times, like that's not the truth. Like everyone, we are human beings, we are these ever evolving and rapidly changing emotions. Like every day is a school day, and it's just about really every day you get up and sort of seeing how you're feeling, tune into you on a daily basis. You can't expect yourself to be, we're female. I mean, we have these hormones that are changing rapidly all day, every day. It's not, we can't expect to be in a state of happiness 24/7.
No, that would be exhausting as well. If you were happy all the time, it would be so exhausting, and you wouldn't even notice that you were happy all the time, because you'd never have those moments of coming back down to realize, last week I had a really low day and I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to do things. But then I slowly picked myself up. I shifted it. I kind of worked through whatever I was feeling. And then the day after I felt really happy and I was like, oh, this feels so good, because I knew that the day before I didn't feel good. And the next day, even that little step up, you kind of recognize that feeling of being happy. And if you were happy all the time, you wouldn't recognize it as happy, and you wouldn't feel the joy in being happy, because you'd be like, oh, this is normal.
I really relate to that, and that the lows really make you appreciate the highs.
And I wouldn't be who I was without the lows that I'd had. I wouldn't be able to teach yoga without the lows that I've had, and I wouldn't be able to guide people through what they go through unless I'd have had the lows I had. And I think everything I share is all just being really open and honest about everything that I feel and everything everyone else feels, and the fact that being a human being, we face lows, we face highs, and the road of life is never ever straight. It's full of bumps, it's full of wobbles. We fall, we get back up again, we learn, we grow, and in each wobble we learn something we need to take the next step forwards. And I think if you don't have those challenges, how do you ever learn, and how do you ever become who you want to be?
I think there's a really beautiful and brave thing as well about sharing your struggles, because a lot of people don't feel that they can, and they keep that to themselves. They never really share their bad times, and they're always trying to portray a picture of positivity and happiness and strength to the world, and then whenever they're on their own, they're sort of really crippling. And I think there's something really strong though about the people who can own their difficulties and be open and sharing, and there's a lot of connection to be gained from that, I find, in my own personal experience, and I find it in a way very healing for you, and that actually can heal a lot of others just by you having the strength and courage to share. I've been in really bad places, and yeah, I might actually still struggle sometimes, but that's totally fine. And then you develop an enhanced sense of empathy, I think, as well. You develop your own wellness toolkit that you can really help others. Like your story can like transform someone else's life. And that's so empowering that, you know, say if you are really struggling, you could be thinking to yourself, how am I going to get out of this? I could actually be someone else's superhero, like in years to come or something. You know, from what I've been through, I can help them go through the same thing. That's incredible.
And I think we've grown up in a world where we're told not to feel sad, and we're told not to cry, and we're told not to feel all these negative things. We're to always be happy, put on a brave face, especially in Britain. We're like, brave
Yeah,
face.
like whenever I would have cried, you know, it would have been like, oh my goodness, stop crying. You know, it's like a panic. It's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like don't do that. You know, that's like an unacceptable emotion. Whereas, you know, why not? Like I'm sad. I need to cry and get it out of me.
I love this guy called Kyle Cease, and he talks about when you cry or you feel something heavy in your body or something comes up in your meditation or just in life in general, it's because it's moving through you and you have to let it move through you. Your crying is releasing it, shaking your body is releasing it, and it's kind of allowing those negative, heavy blocks and barriers to move through you. And he says that when you experience things in your life, your body holds on to it. And I so believe this. Like, you do it, I don't know how many yin classes I've done and I've cried because I've released stuff that my body's.
Yeah. Beth, honestly, the very few yoga things I've done, I have cried and I've been like, oh my goodness, what's happening to me? Like, am I having this, you know, out of body experience? Like, but it can be the sort of suggestions and things that it can make you think. And it's actually just giving that time to yourself to switch off and be in tune and sort of check in. And it can bring up stuff from years and years ago, and you're releasing blocks from that you've dampened down into your subconscious over all those years, trying to block out the hurt, and it's coming out now.
It's really interesting that you say that, because he talks about how at the stage in your life that you are right now, you might not have the tools that you need to deal with what you're facing. So your body holds on to it until you're ready to deal with it. So it holds on to it, and then when it releases it, it knows that you're ready to work through it, and you've got the strength, you've got everything that you need to be able to work through it and let it go and release it. So kind of when you do these things, it's like things that will come up from years ago, because in that time you weren't ready, you didn't have the tools you needed to face it, to release it, to work
Like
through
a
it.
defense mechanism, you block it, bury it then for all those years. And often a lot of behaviors that you experience, for example, you know, anxiety and all these other sort of mental health conditions, you can actually have due to these blockages that can be cleared in other ways that aren't just medicine. Obviously, yoga is a very lifestyle, and well, people might just consider it hippie and stupid, but like really not, because it's actually dealing with the crux and core of your difficulties in many ways.
It's so I'm trained in yoga for depression, yoga for anxiety, and yoga for PTSD.
Really?
It's my biggest passion in life, is help, because I think we all have mental health. Like, even if your mental health is
Yeah.
stable and always have been, we all have it, and we all go through these times, and it's how can we learn to
Yeah, it can help anyone without just having a mental health condition, right?
Yeah, but it's how can we learn to deal with these times using the tools we already have, instead of adding in all these other things. Because I think medicine has its place. I definitely do.
Yeah, I'm not dissing medicine whatsoever. Like, there's obviously many conditions that people wouldn't actually be able to be alive without medicine. Like, that's the fact of the matter. But I think especially for depression and anxiety, there is a sort of just expectation in society that I'll just have a pill. It's like the easiest thing, you know, I'll take a pill and that'll sort me out, rather than, you know, coming back to your mind and changing, you know, the lifestyle factors that could really improve your life, rather than having to rely on tablets.
Yeah, and from my own story, I struggled for about 8 years with an eating disorder and depression and low mood and all of this, and I was on tablets for quite a long time, and all I found was that the tablets just numbed me. They
Yes,
didn't
Beth.
fix the cause of what was causing me to feel this way. I still felt that way, it was just numbed. And then when I slowly started to do yoga, I connected to my body, I started to tune in to what it was that was causing all this stuff, I started to work through it, I found tools to help me work through it. So I love to say that I have a toolbox. So no matter what I face, I have a toolbox of things that I can go to so I can work through it and come back to it and kind of release it. And it was only when I started to really do that that I found I wasn't feeling that anymore. Before, I was just kind of numbed at a certain level. I didn't face anything, but I didn't feel happy either. I was just here.
Nothing. I've
Yeah,
definitely felt that many a times. It's like I actually sort of was really concerned about myself. I was like, I don't feel like a human anymore. Like I don't have any emotions. You know, whenever like really happy things were happening, I just didn't feel any love or and that was completely far removed from who I'd always been as a person. It's actually quite scary. It's like I never feel sad. I never feel happy. I never feel anything. I'm literally just like nothing, and it scares you. It's like leads then into severe depression then. So it's like, why am I nothing? Obviously, having both gone through that, it does sort of really make you strongly appreciate whenever you do have feelings for things again. You know, you can actually feel things. And one of my favorite quotes is feel to heal, because you know, it's whenever you tune into those real, you know, moments of intense sadness from things coming up from your past, or you know, those real challenges, like you can really, if you just give yourself the time rather than pushing it away, like those are the healing moments that you really need and deserve to give yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of why my mission is learn to welcome the pleasure of being human, but also allow the pain, because without the pain, you don't have the
Yeah.
pleasure. You're just numb. And it's that kind of, being a human being is so incredible. We have these incredible bodies, these incredible minds, we have these incredible lives that we live, and we get to experience all these amazing things. We get to experience love and joy and laughter, and how good do those things feel? And if you don't feel any of the pain, then you don't feel those things, and things like tablets just numb you and take it away. And I'm so incredibly grateful that I get to feel all these crazy things of being a human being, because that is the point of us being here, is so that we can feel all these things, so that we can use our emotions and our feelings to live a better life and connect to other people. Our emotions are how we connect to people. So I don't know about you, but I felt really disconnected from
Oh
people.
my goodness. Like, well, me personally, like I'm in a bit of an extreme case here, like, but I didn't leave my house for 2 years. Like I literally didn't see any of the world for 2 years. That's how numb and how distant I was from everyone else. I didn't talk to anyone outside of well, I didn't actually speak to anyone, to be honest. Using my voice again after 2 years was like, oh my God, like, can I speak? But honestly, like, it was really, really bad. Like, that's how bad I would say I let myself get, you know, because you have that choice, and I made the choice obviously to change. But it's like,
In those moments, you didn't have that kind of the
yeah,
tools
you
to.
don't have, I didn't have the toolkit, and it was about, you know, I really relate to the having the toolkit. Like I now have a
Yeah.
wellness toolkit, and I don't know if you've ever heard of WRAP. It's the Wellness Recovery Action Plan. I think it's maybe not something that you've come across, but it would very much, it's more along the CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. So there's obviously a lot of those teachings that roll into the yoga practices that you're sort of, the main aim of this really is like steps to finding freedom. But I feel like through our discussion we have sort of very much covered that, because we've, like, everything we've been talking about is really the steps to uncovering your pain and coming
Yeah.
to terms with just being a human being and doing your best at that, because that's all anyone can ever do.
Yeah. So my steps that I teach in all of everything I share, or everything I offer, everything I share, all my teachings and my classes, all follow these 4 kind of steps. First one is to pause and connect. So it's like to remove the distractions from the outside world, remove the opinions, the expectations, the assumptions, all these rules, and just connect to who you are. Connect to your body, connect to yourself, move yourself out of your mind, and bring yourself back down, and take a breath and take a pause, because I think we're so go go go. Take that time to bring it back down and reconnect to who you are and what you truly desire and what you want in life and what you can create in life. Step number 2 is set your intention. What is it that you want in life? Once you've connected to that place inside of you, to your heart, what do you really want to achieve? What do you really want to experience? What do you want to put out into the world? How do you want to show up in the world? What do you want to embody? And what do you want to share with the world? So it's that set an intention. And I like intentions rather than goals, because I think
me
goals,
too. I always make intentions. I hate that. I never write goals because there's a pressure with a goal. Intention means that, okay, well, I intend to do this, but it's not the end of the world if I don't do it.
Yeah, but I think on the other side as well, goals are so limiting, as in, if you say I'm going to do this, you miss all these other opportunities that are around you.
Yes,
So
because it might not feel right. Something better or something that feels more aligned to you might come across. But then if you're having this goal, then you could be pushing that away, something that's so much better for you. Yeah, I think being very free and flowing and open to opportunities is very important.
And open to the guidance of the world. Like, the future is entirely unknown. So you can't set a goal saying this is what I do, because you have no idea what is going to happen in the future. So it's setting an intention that this is what I want to feel, this is what I want to experience, this is what I want to embody, this is how I want to show up in the world and connect with other people. And then just allowing the opportunities that are in front of you to kind of come in and see what feels right for you. So that time to connect helps you feel whether that opportunity feels right, or whether it feels heavy, or what feels good. So it's kind of, you pause, you connect, you set your intentions, and you leave them open so that you're open to everything that might come your way. The third step is to shed the layers. So kind of remove the blocks, let go of all this stuff that's weighing you down. So I don't like the term overcoming blocks, because I think it kind of has that idea of pushing through something, whereas I like the idea of shedding the layers, so that underneath you have everything you possibly need inside of you. You are limitless potential. It's just that we are weighed down by all these blocks, all these layers, all these opinions, all these rules, all these assumptions and beliefs. And it's, instead of becoming the best version of yourself and changing who you are, it's removing all this stuff to just be you underneath, exactly as you are, because you are enough as exactly as you are. There's nothing you have to do. It's just letting go of the stuff that weighs you down. So
I'm gonna start crying. My goodness, this is actually just beautiful. I feel like this is a real therapy session for people. My goodness, I'm tearing up here. That's so beautiful, Beth. Like, honestly, like, see, even just those words, I think they could be really emotional, and what a lot of people need to hear, because they're not used to hearing that, and they're not used to giving themselves the time to tune into positive affirmations, or just some strength about themselves.
The world is constantly telling us that we're not enough, and that what we do isn't right, and that we have to change who we are, we have to be a different person, we have to live a different life, and we have to follow these rules and expectations and all this other stuff. And really, underneath, you are exactly what you need to be. You were put on this planet for a reason. You have a gift to share with the world, and the world needs to see you. You're here for a reason. So instead of trying to change who you are and trying to be a different person, actually just step into who you are, because trying to be someone else is exhausting, and it weighs you down and it brings you down. Just be who you are, because that is the only person you can possibly be.
And it's about finding out really who you actually are. And I think a lot of people don't give themselves that time to actually tune into who you are, because you're too focused on like the whole entire world around you.
Yeah. And we're so focused on comparing ourselves to other people, or what does this person think of me, or am I showing up how I should show up, or how
who
am I
actually cares what anyone else thinks of you? Like, care about what you think of you.
I read a quote once that said, your magic is when you care more about what you think of yourself than what anyone else thinks of you.
Damn right, I love that.
You spend so much time with yourself. You're the only person you will ever spend your life with is you. Other people will come and go, experiences will come and go, things in your life will come and go, but there is only ever you.
But do you not think as well, Beth, like whenever you're fully content and tuned into you, you radiate that and attract that from others as well. That, it's really empowering to get to a stage of pure confidence and real belief in you, that you're putting that out in the world, and it's actually quite infectious.
And the more you allow yourself to be you, the more you allow others to be themselves. And
and what's more beautiful than that, to teach someone else, or to let someone else feel that they can be them and they don't need to hide, because so many of us are hiding our true selves, which is just heartbreaking. We're all incredible, remarkable, unique human beings. Like, we should be embracing that. Like, who cares if we don't fit into society's norm?
And the
Who
more
wants to
you
be normal anyway? We're never born to be normal and fit in.
normal is so boring. But the more you step into who you are, the more you connect to people like you, the more you find people that you really connect with and you have these crazy conversations with and crazy experiences with, because you're connecting to them instead of an idea of what they're trying to put out into the world or what you're trying to put out into the world. It's like just being you, letting go of all the kind of everything else. And another thing Kyle C says, he says that when you first meet someone, just say what you're thinking. Like if you're nervous, say I'm nervous. If you're this, say it, rather than like try and be like, I can't say I'm nervous, so I have to think of something clever to say. So you say like, oh, the sun's out today, and it's like, no,
yeah,
conversation of like what you're actually thinking, because then the other person can turn around and say, actually, I have nothing to say, or oh, actually, I'm nervous too, and it's like,
and then you can both laugh over it or something. Like it's just a bonding experience, right?
And it's that idea that no one on this planet knows what they're doing. We're all here trying to figure it out and just wandering around trying to work it all out. Not a single person has it figured out. Like that is a total myth.
Even if they make it seem like they do, nobody does. You are all just, I mean, there's no manual to tell you how to adult or how to live this life as perfectly and flawless. You know, we're literally all learning each day as we can. And sort of the last step that you had thought about, trying to feel your best in whatever moment, is that right?
Yeah, step number 4 is allowing. So you've connected to who you are, you've kind of pressed pause on all this other crazy stuff, you've connected to you, you've set your intention, what you want to be, what you want to show up in the world, how you want to feel, what you want to experience. You've shed the layers, and then you just kind of allow. You allow yourself to feel good. You do these things that feel good. You laugh, you have fun, you play, you do things that actually feel good for you, and stop doing all this other stuff that doesn't. Like, feel it in your body. Does it feel light? Does it feel heavy? What feels good to actually spend your time doing? Because we only get one chance on this planet, so don't waste it doing something that doesn't feel good. Do something that fills you up. Do something that makes you smile. Do something that makes you laugh. Do something that picks you up. So it's like allowing those things to actually happen and enjoying your life where you are, because where you are is the only thing there is. So actually don't live for the future thinking that I'll live my life when I get to this point, because you might never get there. So instead of doing that, start living now. Start doing things now that feel good. Start doing things that you love and that is just going to make you happy and positive, because that's what you'll then put out into the world and what you'll attract back to you.
And also, don't live your life in the past thinking, oh, because I was that way, then that's all I can ever be. You know, don't just think because I'm depressed now or I've always had anxiety that you're always going to have anxiety. That's no. You can literally change your life today. You can be a different human. You can create an idea and picture in your head of who you want to be and the life you want to live, and then create that and work towards getting to that.
And it's baby steps. So it's
it's not as if you're going to wake up 0 to hero tomorrow. You're going to be like, oh, a renowned woman. It's like, yeah, just giving yourself the time to slowly transform, caterpillar to a butterfly, shedding away your toxicity and all stuff that you didn't ask for, and just blooming into the person you were always designed to be, right?
Yeah, exactly. And doing things in the moment now that move you closer towards where you want to be, and that help you embody that person you want to be. So if you want to be a loving, happy, positive person, what can you do now that is going to help you embody those feelings? What can you do now that is going to help you embody, I don't know, if you want to be strong and resilient, what can you do now that is going to help you be strong and resilient? If you want to be funny, what can you do now that is going to help you to be that person?
Taking the time to remind yourself, sort of, who is it I want to be, rather than continuing on to be ways that are unfavorable and don't feel good to me. Yeah. Really just checking in on that. Oh, yeah, Beth, I think that's been really, really empowering and just what everyone would need to know. I could literally chat to you all day about this because it's just one of those topics that like fills me with so much joy, nourishing. That these things are not spoken about enough, and I really feel like this needs to be mainstream news. You know, let's heal everyone's hurt and hearts, because I mean that's what we deserve. Do you want to let everyone know where they could find out more from you? Because I'm sure this episode will have been like, oh my gosh, I need to know what this girl's doing.
So at the moment, YouTube and Instagram, I'm traveling Yogi Bee on both of them. I'm in the process of starting this kind of new business, new brand called Like a Yogi Does, where I'm going to be running boot camps, one-to-one coaching with people. So I do like classes, but I also do one-to-one classes. So kind of giving people time just to let it all go, let it be free. I'm here to kind of help you reflect, help you work through things, and just taking the time to learn to be a human being. What tools can we add to your toolbox so that you can live your best life and face any challenge that comes your way? What can we start to shift and let go of and release so that you can start to kind of live your best life and actually allow those things to feel good and learn to be a human being? How can you enjoy being a human being? So yeah, I'm most active on Instagram and YouTube, but watch those two spaces because there are big things coming soon.
That's very exciting. I'm so excited for you. Like that will be what this world needs from you, Beth. I mean, no pressure. Like, I mean, take your time with, you know, getting that set up. But I feel like that'll be very transformative for a lot of people. You saw me, like that made me cheer up. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna need to turn this off here. I'm gonna burst into fits. This is so emotional. My goodness.
Seen as an incredible human being, emotions and all.
Oh, I know. Well, thank you so much, Beth. Honestly, that was really, really beautiful. And I so appreciate all your wisdom and light and love that you've shared today.
Well, thank you for holding this space for me. It's amazing to connect with people and to share all this crazy stuff that goes on in my mind.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm sure everyone else will be flooding you with love also.